The following is a Kingfisher Media production.
You are listening to the What I Like About You podcast. I'm Alexa Sarah Lynn. With me is my co-host, AC Fisher, and today's guest, Amanda Nielsen. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really great to have you. Amanda she's had some experience with podcasting. She's got a show called It's Really None of Our Business. Check it out. And she was telling me a little bit about this podcast, which is actually perfect because the title is called Tell Me More. So Tell Me More with Amanda Nielsen. I want to hear a little bit more about that later. And then she also has a really fun show on YouTube called Social Barware. Definitely check it out. It's really fun. So, so yeah, those three things. Check it out. Amanda Nielsen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh dear, I don't know where to start. It kind of sounds like I'm just some internet whore and I just want everybody to see me and listen to me on the internet, but that's really not me.
Okay.
The whole podcast thing is like fairly new to me. It started because my husband got into the YouTube world. He's a plumber. And one day he came home with this idea. He was going to start a YouTube channel. And I was like, who are you trying to be? Like, are you trying to be famous? Like what, why, for what reason? Like, why would anybody want to watch you on YouTube? And he was trying to pitch it to me like it's a business, like just wait it out, and he had kind of discovered this whole community of people. And essentially he learned how to build a YouTube channel. And 2 years later, it's actually doing really well and making money and it's crazy. But anyway, so about, a few months into it, he goes, why don't you start a podcast? Like you're so into talking to people and everything. I was like, all right. So I did.
Yeah.
And now I'm like hooked. I just love it. And I'm like, there's people who create content and there's people who consume it. And like, I consume a shit ton of it. Like, why wouldn't I create it too? Cause like, it's better than sitting in front of Netflix. Like what else is there to do? It's COVID. So.
Right. It's like, we're already overworked and underpaid. We might as well do something we really enjoy.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like I get a lot of joy out of just having conversations with people. So I always say like, I might as well record them and have other people listen, and whether people want to or not, I don't know, but I like it.
Well, I've heard somebody say that like podcasting is where narcissism meets delusion. So which end of that spectrum are you on?
I think I'm closer to the narcissist side, actually. Me and Monica were having that conversation on one of our last episodes, actually. And she doesn't think we're narcissists, but I'm like, who other than a narcissist records themselves having a conversation and puts it on the internet? And I'm like, everybody, you guys want to listen to this, right? Like, of course you do. Like, it's me. Like, talking about nothing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's just like Monica's great. I met her actually through her other podcast, and like we kind of hit it off right away. And like, I don't want to throw her under the bus because she's a great person and she's like one of your best friends, but she 100% is a narcissist.
No. I kind of joke that we're narcissists. I don't actually I don't know. Like, do you guys know the actual definition of narcissist? Yes. Let's try to diagnose me here. Yeah. Let's see.
God.
Well, it's the thing. Man. I mean, we don't really know each other at this point in the conversation. So like, this is normally where we're all sort of looking at each other, thinking that we got a good idea of like who the other people are.
Yeah.
So like, at the end of every episode, we like to like finish off with like making a round of like, hey, like, what do you like about the other people here? But maybe for this one, we should try something a little different. Let's start off by thinking like, just based on a snap judgment, what do we think is wrong with each other? And like, Alexis is question. Like one of her pet passions is offering back alley diagnoses of narcissism to people in her life. Let's see how she shoehorns you into the narcissist box.
Oh God. I was just going to say, I was like, I don't know. I gotta take some time to like observe her behavior because narcs, they're like, a lot of them are like compulsive liars. I'm not gonna just believe whatever she says.
I gotta tell you, right? Lying is like I cannot lie. Like that's what a liar would say, but like I have such a guilty conscience. Like I'll tell people the truth about things that don't even like, they don't even care. Cause I'm like, I just want to like justify things all the time. Okay. What else is there? Did I pass?
Well, that's one thing. No, if we really like, it's like we could, totally make this into a boring episode about, diagnosing narcissism. But like, really, like, do you feel like, what do we ever ask ourselves enough? Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, and how do I compare to other people? And why am I comparing myself to other people?
You know what I learned actually just, I don't know, I want to say about a week ago, because okay, so I don't smoke a lot of pot. I don't eat a lot of edibles, because whenever I do, I find I get like really critical of myself and really paranoid. That's like a very common thing. A lot of people have that. But I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said that he likes to get really high sometimes and put himself in really uncomfortable like situations. Like he'll go on stage really high, or he'll like get, in like one of those places where like everybody's looking at me. I'm so stupid. What the hell? And then he starts judging himself. And he said he really likes it because he can like use that criticism of himself to like kind of work on himself. And I took that and I'm so into it now. So my favorite thing to do now is to get like, I'll eat an edible and like go for a walk and like just start like thinking about all the things I hate about myself. And then I'm able to like work on, I don't know. It's like a way to critique. Like if you take that feeling that you have of like, oh my God, like what do people see when they see me? And like, why did I behave that way? I don't know. I find it kind of cool.
That's actually not a bad approach, because if you think about it, it's like, I don't think most people spend enough time like doing the self-diagnostic and trying to think, okay, like where am I horribly messing up?
Yeah.
And what you're describing, it sounds like you're kind of like beating the hell out of yourself as a form of self-love because you're doing it to improve.
Right. No, I get that. It's like a form of meditation kind of, when you're doing it with purpose and you're really kind of, taking away that anxiety when you don't usually want to go there.
Yeah.
And then just relaxing, allowing yourself to kind of, think about those things. Yeah. I think that's awesome. I think more people should just kind of chill and like start thinking about it.
There's different kinds of people though, like, because it goes for, that's the way that I learn. That's the way, like I've talked to Monica about this before too. Like I learn kind of by shame sometimes. So like the fear of people shaming me or judging me teaches me things and stops me from doing a lot of things. And I just assume that my kids are going to be the same way. So I was telling Monica this story about how my son was acting like just obnoxious. He was being ridiculous. And I was like, Colton, nobody is going to want to spend time with you if you behave that way. You're not going to have any friends. Everybody's going to be annoyed of you. And Monica and my husband both were like, what is wrong with you? You don't talk to a 6-year-old that way. And I was like, why? Like, that's a good way to, yeah, he's 6.
That was beat into my head. Yeah. That was beat into my head when I was a kid too. It's like, what? It's true.
But did that,
right.
like, I've had multiple conversations with people since then, and they've all been like, no, like kids take that in and he's probably going to relive that. And like, you're his mom, you're his safe place. But I'm the kind of person who's like, well, that's how I learn. So it's like, I don't know. I need to like realize that not everybody is the same way as me. And like, even I'm in this like workout accountability group thing, and they all want each other to like, oh, you missed a workout. That's okay. You'll get the next one. Where I'm like, if I miss a workout, I want somebody to be like, Amanda, you missed it for what reason? Like,
get up and go, fatty.
Yeah. Get your ass back in here. Yeah.
You had no reason to miss it. Well, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like different ways. People need different things to succeed, I guess. And I need shame and anger. I don't know.
I kind of get that though. Cause like when I revisit certain childhood memories, I still feel that cringe from like when somebody was shaming me, but like that cringy feeling is what reminds me that like, hey, that was an important lesson. Don't ever forget it.
Yeah.
And like, I've had a couple people over the years kind of like grind on me for like talking to my kids that way, like saying, hey, if you want to keep on acting like a jackass, everybody's going to hate you. And they'll be like, like that's verbal abuse. But the way I see it is that like the world can be kind of a rough place. And if the kids can't learn to handle harsh criticism from the people that love them the most, how are they going to handle it from strangers who can't stand them already?
See, that was my way of justifying it as well. But Monica and I think she's right. And like my husband and countless other people now have told me that like he's going to feel that from everywhere else in the world. He should feel love from his family. And I'm like, but he knows he's loved. And they're like, yeah, but the negative shit is what sticks in their head. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I actually agree. And I think my daughter is kind of more like me. Like, I think she could handle it. And you just have to like get to know your child or whoever it is that you're dealing with. Like some people are the kind of person that need that. And other people need more like, you know, I love you, but like calm down. Whereas, you know, I was like, nobody wants to be around you. You're annoying. Like,
yeah,
it's not nice.
Thank you for listening to What I Like About You. Please remember to like, follow, and share.
I am used to like getting away with things because I offer sophisticated justifications for my garbage actions. And Monica's the only person I've ever met who looks straight through that and says, no, I'm not buying it. Which kind of makes me look at myself and think like, what is wrong with you? Like, do you like find yourself kind of examining the things that you think you're doing right and think, well, maybe I'm not doing them as right as I thought?
But I think that's the benefit of any kind of open conversation, right? Like I think any friendship or relationship should give you that. Like, that's why when you have those people in your life that you have to tiptoe around because you don't want to say something because it might offend them, I think that's not like a true friendship or relationship. If you have those people should be questioning you and feel comfortable to question you. And you as the receiver of it should be like, oh, this person's telling me this with like love. So like, oh, maybe I am talking to my kid like an asshole. Like maybe I should. And it did. It made me stop. And because I was like, nope, I refuse to change. Like, that's the way I feel. And then by the end of it, I'm like, you know what? You're actually absolutely right. Like, you know, so it's nice to have those open dialogues, but it goes both ways. You have to be open to receiving it too. It's like anything in life.
That's what I was kind of wondering about is there anything that you're aware of where like the people around you have to walk on eggshells around you?
I am not aware, but maybe. Like, I think my sister thinks I'm like hard to be around, but I don't know why. Maybe because when we were kids, I was like always mean to her and stuff. So I think that she has some like deep-seated memories of that, and it's like hard to come away from it. But
did she have it coming?
Well, obviously. I don't know, maybe.
Too, so yeah.
I don't know if I'm the right person to ask. Ask Monica.
So I had a question for you, Amanda. When you do something wrong, and like you said, you're kind of like walking us through kind of your thought process. When you do something wrong, like, you know, you've like really hurt someone, how do you deal with that when there's nobody to like point the finger and tell you and shame you and make you do the right thing?
Oh, like, so can you give me an example? Like, if I'm like,
so like, okay, let's say, for example, like you're with Monica or somebody that, you know very well, and you're having a conversation, you just start to get careless with the things that you say, and you say something that's really hurtful. You know, how do you kind of recover from that? And what do you do? Okay,
so I have like very recent memories of this actually with Karsten, my husband. We were like drinking, playing cards with some friends, and I don't even remember what he was being like. He was trying, I don't know, it was just whatever. We were getting in an argument over the game essentially. And I think I was like emasculating him and just being a dick. And he was like pretty pissed about it, but he didn't bring it up at the time because he didn't want to start a fight in front of our friends. So he told me about it later. And I think as I've gotten older, I've learned this. So if this like 5, 6, 10 years ago, this is not how it would have gone. But what happened was he was like, that was pretty fucked up. And I was like, oh yeah, actually it was. And I just like, I take ownership. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to make you feel like a dick. Like, cause the thing that makes me crazy is when people don't take ownership for their own fuck ups. Like in that case, he was being obnoxious and like trying to explain the rules. And I like told him to shut up essentially. So at the time I thought I was right. Cause I was like, you're being annoying. Again, it's the same thing. Like, you're being annoying and nobody wants to be around you.
Right.
So then it turns out I was a dick to him. So I said, you're absolutely right. I shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry. And like, now it's like, I told him multiple times, I'm like, I'm the kind of person who needs to be called out on shit. So like, if I'm acting like a dick, can you please just like tell me or give me some sort of nudge and like be like, this is bothering me. This is hurting my feelings. You're acting like an asshole. And I will, because I like, he's not the person. I don't want to hurt him. Like, he's my person. Like, you know, and sometimes I don't realize I'm doing it until it's too late.
Right.
I'm actually like kind of amused by what you're describing, because your whole approach, both on like the offending your partner and also on the how you recover from it, from just owning things a little bit too easily. This is basically like my process. And I know that there are times where it makes Alexis absolutely freaking mental.
How so?
Oh God. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe because like it's easier for him to like, he's been living this message a lot longer than me. Like, I feel like I was kind of grown up like in a home where you had so much pride and you were always so defensive. And so you have a hard time like seeing your own shit or realizing that it's there or taking the steps to correct it. And it could come so easily to him, like pointing at it, or it seems to me like he gets mad when I say this because like, it seems like it looks easy, like from my perspective for him to do that. But it's a little bit more difficult for me. And so when it can just be so easy for him. It's just like, what? Like, yeah, it does drive me up the wall sometimes, you know.
I feel like she doesn't take me seriously sometimes because she's like, okay, well, you acted like a jerk. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I won't do it anymore. Like, I'm not going to like offer an apology because I don't see the value in it. It's like, you'll know I'm sorry when I change my behavior.
No, see,
right.
Like saying I'm sorry feels like you want me to kiss your ass.
No. I disagree with that. I think part of accepting ownership is saying that I'm sorry for making you feel that way. And it was not like I've said it 100 times to Carson. It was not my intent to make you feel shitty. It was not my intent to embarrass you in front of our friends. Like, I didn't wake up this morning trying to make you feel shitty, and I'm sorry for that. So like, the story matters. Definitely what you're saying is moving forward, don't do it again. And that's going to prove to her that whatever you said you meant. But like, I think the word sorry means a huge amount. Like, even I got mad at my son yesterday because he made me wait 10 minutes in the cold, and I was pissed, like picking him up from school because he was dilly-dallying inside his daycare. And he came out and he's like, it was their fault, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Colton, all I want from you is, I'm sorry I made you wait, Mom. Like, sometimes you just want to hear those words, you know, like, so you're wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
that's fine though. I don't need to
question.
Like, yeah. Go ahead. None of us have to agree. Like,
right. No, but like,
I find this like,
question.
Go ahead, Alexis.
Sorry. No, no, because like, this is like a good, I like that we're talking about this because it's like, why is it so important for some of us to hear the I'm sorry? And some of us we just don't care about that. Like it doesn't, like AC said, like, it's just, there's no value. It doesn't really correct anything, but it's like, why do we need to hear it so much? Is it just validation? Is it part of the forgiveness process? You know,
no,
what do you think about it?
You are listening to What I Like About You. Please remember to like, follow, and share.
It's ownership. It's taking ownership of your behavior. It's saying, what I did was wrong, and I admit that. And I'm like, it's just a way of like pretty much taking ownership for your bad behavior, I think.
So I'm just kind of curious. It's like, I'm big on taking ownership. Like, I've got two big philosophies that I like to beat to death in the public eye. One is that offense is taken, it's not given. The other one is that taking responsibility is more productive than assigning blame.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's like, if I take responsibility, I'll take responsibility by saying, hey, I realize I did that. Like, maybe it wasn't my intent, but like, I can own the fact that like what I did or what I said rubbed you the wrong way. But the words I'm sorry don't really feel like, to me, like a necessary component. And maybe it's because I hate hearing those words myself, so I don't leave anybody else room to need to hear it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So it's like, I always talk about the love languages, so I'm back to that, but it's the same idea. So you guys understand, you guys know the whole 5 love languages thing?
Okay. I can you remind me? Maybe some of our listeners aren't too familiar. If you could like just name them off
essentially what
quick.
it is. You can take a test and find out what your love language is. So it doesn't even matter for the purpose of what I'm saying, like what your love language is, but there's things like, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, whatever. It doesn't matter. So there's 5 things that you show your love to your partner. So let's say it was receiving gifts. I really like gifts. You hate giving gifts. When you don't give me a gift, I feel like, oh, he doesn't love me. It's that kind of situation. I think it's the same with this sorry thing. It's like if your partner needs to hear I'm sorry, but you don't care about I'm sorry, you're not speaking to them in what they need, like how hard is it to so that's what the point of this love language thing is. It's like knowing what your partner needs and knowing what you need and kind of like just being aware, like my partner likes to show love by buying me a gift, where I like to show love by giving him a word, like, I'll give him a back rub or whatever. That's like a touch one. Whereas like what this sorry thing is like, it's your partner needs to hear. Alexa, well, I don't know. It's a question I have for you guys. But why, like if she needs to hear I'm sorry, like, and you don't care about I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. She needs to hear it. She's the other side of the friendship, the partnership, or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, you know what I'm actually finding interesting is like when we came into this exact subject matter, I was thinking that you and me like are just going to disagree on this, and this isn't room for common ground because like I think I'm sorry is a bullshit statement. You're saying no, it's got value. But like when you're describing your point of view, what I'm hearing is effectively like something that I've said in other contexts, which is like it's not enough to treat people how we want to be treated. We need to figure out how to treat people how they want to be treated.
Exactly.
And that's why the golden rule, I think, is total BS, because it's like we want to project effectively our love language on another person. So it's like in my head, it's registered, but I haven't put it into practice because it didn't register emotionally. So,
but I just realized it's the exact same thing with how I like to learn and be like scolded or whatever. That's how I learn. It's the same idea. Just because I learn that way doesn't mean my son's going to. You know what I mean? Like it's all. I think we're doing a full circle thing here.
No, that's awesome. That's like exactly what we hope to find here.
That's why we have these conversations.
Look at us.
We never know what we're going to find or discover. I mean, God, this show is so new and just, I can't believe like all the stuff we pull out. No, it's really fun. But yeah, like the whole I'm sorry thing, like I struggle with that. And like another thing like we're talking about the gifts thing, like I am a giver. Nobody knows this about me because I don't fucking give anybody anything because I'm fucking poor. And like, I never know what people want. And it's triggering for me because, I don't want to get into my own, stupid childhood trauma or whatever, but like, it bothers me. I always feel awkward and uncomfortable sometimes. And so then I feel really badly, like when people that I care about, their birthday comes around and either I don't have something or I don't have something that I feel is meaningful enough. But, you know what I mean? And I really struggle with that. Cause like, I'm trying to like make sure that they know that I love them.
But you have to, Monica and I actually just did an episode about this. I don't know if it's the one we just released or not. It might've been, but like it's the people that you're worried about might not even care about gifts. So like my sister, huge gift giver, like her love language is for sure gifts. So like no matter what, she's got a gift for me, but that means she also expects gifts. And I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't know, what do I get her? So I'm like day before her birthday in the mall trying to like find something. Oh, do you think she'll like this? Whereas like for me, I'm like, I want to have her come over to my house and I want to like wine and dine her. I'll cook her a meal that she likes. I'll make sure she's fed. I'll give her a bed. Like I'm more of like a acts of service kind of person. So it's like, you just have to, if you're worried about giving, just make sure that the person you're worried about actually cares about that. Cause like, if they don't, then like, what are you worried about? Just like hang out with them. Cause maybe that's all they want, or maybe they want a massage, or maybe they want to, I don't know, whatever you can do. Like,
so like, what do you do when like the kind of love you have to give isn't the kind of love that they want to get?
Well, then that's the issue, right? So that's where communication comes in, and you guys just have to have conversations, and maybe you have to adjust your expectations. Like, it just depends on what the situation is, right? Like,
you make it sound so easy. Yeah.
Well, everything's easy on paper. Like
everything's
easy on paper. It's like fixing COVID. It's easy. Just shut everything down.
Yeah. Easy.
So can I ask you guys a question? Like, how do you guys know each other? What is your relationship with each other?
Oh, so you don't know.
I don't know anything about you guys.
We actually, we met on a podcast. Our first ever conversation with each other was her interviewing me for her, at the time, brand new podcast.
Okay.
And we sort of stayed in contact ever since. And yeah, we both like were at the tail end of marriages that were not functioning, and we kind of just dumped the excess baggage and decided to be together. Near the beginning of this conversation, we had a bit of fun play diagnosing a serious mental wellness issue. After listening to the recording, I realized how unfair this was. It really shouldn't have been as funny to me as I found it. I've been accused of being dramatic when I've been legitimately diagnosed with anxiety and panic disorders. Because of that, I should have been more aware. Mental health issues are serious and shouldn't be marginalized through humor. I own that, and I'm sorry. Next time, our conversation with Amanda continues. There's a lot of good stuff in the second half, and I hope you join us.